This crop variety trial site at Wagga in New South Wales is one of about 650 across the country which make up Australia's national variety trials. For GRDC's Managing Director John Harvey, there's particular anticipation about 2013's NVT data and the insights they'll give growers.
It has been an interesting year because it's been so varied across Australia. And whilst that comes with its challenges for growers and making money out of farming, from an NVT point of view, from National Variety Trials, that's actually quite good because that allows us to see the sort of performance of varieties under varying conditions. And that's important. Growers want to know how varieties perform, not just in the good years, but also in the average years and the poor years.
Tell me about GRDC's investment in national variety trials.
Well, NVT is a big part of GRDC's investments. We know how important it is for growers to grow the right variety for their farm and their conditions. And so we put quite a strong emphasis on making sure growers have independent information to make those decisions on. NVT consists of 650 trials across the whole of Australia on over 400 farms and across 10 different crops. We're spending something like $5.5 million a year on collecting that national variety trial data, doing the analysis and making it available online for both growers but also their advisors so that we get the best possible decisions made around variety decisions.
What else is piquing your interest about the national variety trial data this year?
Well, in this part of the world, in the southern region, we know from NVT 2012 that wheat varieties like maize and Korak and emu rock did very well. So we're very interested to see the 2013 harvest data to see whether some of the newcomers like Cobra and Trojan can out-yield them.
What's been the changes in the NVT over the past few years?
Look, over the last 3 or 4 years, the NVT program probably hasn't changed a great deal in terms of the total size, but we have become more sophisticated at the way we actually use the data that comes out of NVT. It's all very well to talk about average yield and average performance of varieties, but we know that in dry years and in wet years, the same variety can perform very, very differently. So what we're keen to be able to tell growers is which are the more robust varieties, which are the varieties that will perform okay in a bad year but really, really well in a good year and have that yield stability about them. And so our team of statisticians that look at the NVT data are out trying to come up with techniques to be able to give that information to growers.
So essentially the developments that improve NVT are happening back in the office, not so much out in the paddock.
Well, certainly are happening back in the computer actually, I guess is where some of those improvements are happening. But we're also getting a lot more questions asked about how you grow varieties. So again, the genetics is very, very important, but different varieties actually require different agronomy to get the best out of them. And what we're seeing increasingly is growers saying, that's all very well, we know those 2-3 varieties might be on the top of the list, but how do we grow maize to get the most out of maize? How do we grow, for example, Cobra? It's probably different in terms of the management practices. So there's a lot of interest from growers about taking some of that NVT varieties out of the top of the NVT trials and then doing more crop-specific agronomy work to fine-tune how you get the best out of those varieties.
John Harvey, thanks for joining us once again on Ground Cover TV.
Thanks, Daryl.